So let's start right away. And remember that please hold your questions till the end, otherwise it'll be difficult for me to see them. So greetings to all of you. Welcome. And I look forward to spending this 1 hour with you to talk to you about health in your hands. And this is a webinar from SHARAN. SHARAN stands for Sanctuary for Health and Reconnection to Animals and Nature. And let's talk about health in your hands. You know, I became a doctor in 1981, and I found that today we are seeing diseases that are completely different from what I saw before. We're seeing a rise in diabetes. When I became a doctor, 5% of adult population had diabetes. Today, it's 35% of adult Indian population. Also, heart disease and hypertension have been increasing. And I've seen young people, even at the age of 25 and 30, have high blood pressure and even heart attacks. And thyroid, which was very rare when I became a doctor, has become commonplace. Left, right, and center, we have people who have thyroid problems. And polycystic ovarian disease as well. You know, young girls in school and college are suffering from this. And infertility. When I became a doctor, the problem in India was overfertility. Today, infertility clinics have opened up everywhere. And kidney failure, and autoimmune diseases, and dementia, and Alzheimer's, and the list goes on. Today, we are more sick than ever before in our history. Why? And that's what we're going to discuss today, because all of us can get better if we follow a few simple principles. Right now, we are outsourcing our health. We are outsourcing our health to doctors, to the pharmaceutical industry. But has medicine ever helped anybody get well? So let's look at a few common misconceptions that allow us to outsource our health. We have the impression that disease is something bad. And before we started this webinar, I actually talked to the people in the room and told them about my own experiences. Disease is a path to personal growth. Our body produces disease to let us know that we're doing something wrong. And if we make changes, we can get rid of disease. But we often try to run away from disease by going in for medications. And that's because we have the misconception that medicines can cure. But do you know anyone who has been cured of diabetes or hypothyroid or polycystic ovarian or even high blood pressure and heart disease with medicines? When we get sick, we think that we should get rid of the symptoms, and that's why we go in for medicines. But medicines help us get rid of symptoms. But when we get rid of symptoms without understanding the cause and removing it, we never get away from disease. Doctors can help us get well. We know that that's not true, but doctors can help us. Unfortunately, doctors don't know much about nutrition because we're never taught this in medical school. We have about an hour or two of nutritional knowledge, and doctors get their knowledge about nutrition in the same place that you do. That's why doctors in different parts of the world have different information about nutrition. For example, doctors in India might tell you that you should drink milk to get healthy. But doctors in Russia may say that you should have chicken soup. And doctors in USA may say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. The truth is that medicines never cure. Medicines only remove symptoms. Only our body heals, and our body knows how to heal, and we have so much evidence of this. If you get fever and you don't do anything, chances are the fever will go away. If you have a headache and you don't do anything, the chances are the headache will go away. If you get a fracture and put the bones together so that they don't rub against each other, the fracture will heal. And no doctor knows how to heal a fracture, but your body knows. If your body knows how to heal fracture, do you think your body doesn't know how to reverse diabetes or reverse heart disease or hypertension or even cancer or autoimmune diseases? It knows, but it can only tell us how to do it through symptoms. So, symptoms give us the chance to listen to our body. And so, we should never remove symptoms. We should protect our body and look after it well because it's the only health insurance, it's the only thing that we have our entire lives that will tell us how to heal ourselves. And the only real insurance, the only way to get healthy is living in God's way, the way God designed for us to live, rather than in man's way. Why are all the animals in nature healthier than we are? Because they live and eat the way God designed them to live and eat, and not the way we want to. We are the only species that are overweight. You'd never see animals in nature overweight. And we are the only species that gets so sick. So today we are going to talk about eating and living in God's way and not man's way. And that's the way that we can get health back into our own hands. So let's look at this picture. This shows the teeth of a carnivore. And now we see the teeth of herbivores and teeth of omnivores. And you can see that different kinds of omnivores have different kinds of teeth. For example, the monkey that predominantly eats plants rather than animals has different omnivorous teeth than a bear who, though is an omnivore, mainly lives on animals. And then we compare it to our own teeth, and you can see that, even though we have teeth that are called canines, we really don't have canines that can rip an animal apart. In fact, when we eat animal products, we have to hack them with a knife and cook them. Unlike the omnivores or the carnivores that can actually eat the animals raw and whole. And like all herbivores drink by sipping. Carnivores drink by lapping. Like all herbivores, we sip. Have you ever found yourself lapping your drink? And our digestive systems are totally different from that of a carnivore. Here you can see the digestive system of a carnivore, and you see that it's relatively short. The digestive system of a carnivore is 3 times the length of its spine. But the digestive system of an omnivore, a herbivore, is 12 to 16 times the length of their spine. 12 to 16 times. Why? Because a carnivore, it eats its meal whole. For example, a cat would eat a rat whole. Skin, bones, hair, blood, everything. And then this goes into the stomach where there's a lot of acid which dissolves the skin and the bones, but most importantly, kills all the bacteria on the animal. And then we need acid to digest the animal. So the carnivore eats its prey and then waits for a long time to digest its prey. And once the prey is digested in the stomach, proteins get digested in the stomach. Once the prey is digested, it goes through the short digestive tract and out. The large intestine of the carnivore is really short compared to our large intestines. And that's because animal products are decaying substances that need to go out as soon as possible. Now, us, on the other hand, we don't have a lot of acid in the stomach. But if we eat high protein food, then we need the acid to digest the food, and so we add acids. We have Coke or alcohol. You know, when you go to McDonald's or to eat a burger, what do you feel like drinking? A Coke. When you go to a nice French restaurant and eat a steak, what do you feel like drinking? Wine or alcohol. These are acidic and they help in the digestion because we don't have enough acid in our stomach. But acid is really bad for us because it causes disease. So we don't want that. And then the animal products, if we eat them, go through our long digestive tract. Remember, animal products are decaying products full of bacteria. And so we absorb toxins all the way down. And we have a multicolored vision. And that's because the best foods for us cover all the colors of the rainbow. If you see all these colors, don't you feel tempted? Yet many of us are eating meals that are white, brown, and yellow every day because we overcook and we eat cooked food. But manufacturers know that colors attract, and so they do this. And we live in groups. All herbivores live in groups, and that's to protect them from the predators, and so do we. We live in societies or countries or cultures. These are all groups. And we have a strong desire for sweets. And that's because the best food in the world for human beings is sweet, and that's fruit. But manufacturers know this, and so they put sugar in everything. There's sugar in ketchup, there's sugar in burgers, pizzas, Coke. It's everywhere, and that's why children love to eat out. But think about it. Let's go to our instincts. Every animal eats according to instincts. If you were on a farm or an orchard and you saw fruits and vegetables hanging, what would you feel like doing? Picking and eating, of course. And if you saw both fruits and vegetables, which would you choose first? Probably fruit. Fruit is the best food for us. And that's why we always allow our diabetics to eat as much fruit as they like. Because fruit never causes disease. You know, diabetics are often told to reduce their sugar, stop their rice or carbohydrates, and maybe not have fruits or not have the sweet fruits like bananas and um, chicus or custard apple or mangoes. But do they ever get well from following this advice? No, that's because the cause of diabetes is not sugar. The cause of diabetes is lack of insulin or insulin resistance. The result of diabetes is high blood sugar, but the cause is lack of insulin and insulin resistance. And if we can tackle that, diabetes will be gone. And that's why in our 21-day residential retreat, where we take all the lab reports at the beginning and all the lab reports at the end, and we put people on delicious food, buffets, no restrictions. We allow a lot of fruit. And even when we have our 21-day retreat in mango season, people get off their medicines just by eating a lot of fruits, mangoes, sometimes even 10 mangoes a day. Fruits never cause diabetes. But imagine if you were to see a chicken walk across the road, or a goat, or a cow. Would your mouth water? If you're a non vegetarian, you might find your mouth watering if you have a cooked chicken or cooked animal products on your plate in front of you. But when you see the animals, our mouth doesn't matter. Water. Whose mouth will water when they see a chicken? Perhaps a dog. Whose mouth will water if they see a goat or a cow? Maybe a lion. That means today we're eating dog food and lion food. No wonder we're sick. We should go back to eating more human foods, the foods which we are naturally attracted to. And manufacturers know this. So when they try to sell us shampoos or soaps or any body care products, then they smell of fruits or flowers. Do they ever smell of beef or chicken? Never. Because they are appealing to our instincts. Now, we've been told that milk is a complete food, but let's think a moment. Milk is a complete food only for a baby. And every mammal produces milk only for its young. And in nature, we never see animals drinking another animal's milk. You don't see goats drinking pig's milk or monkeys drinking elephant's milk, do you? We are the only species that drinks another animal's milk. And milk, mother's milk, is nutritional and nurturing. Mother connects with the baby when she feeds the baby milk. But do we ever connect with the cow whose milk we drink? No. Cow's milk is only for calves. Many people ask me, well, then what should we give our kids? And I want to tell you that all of Southeast Asia never had a dairy industry, but they produce kids over kids over kids. What do they feed their kids? Mother's milk, and then children start getting teeth at 6 months, and that's for a reason. So they can have fruit, they can be given the best food in the world, bananas and apples and papayas and whatever fruit you get in your area. And then they could be started on mashed vegetables or cooked vegetables and maybe even a little bit of grain. After 6 months, a baby can be given any food that we eat mashed up. They don't need cow's milk. Actually, the reason we love milk is because it's a convenience food for moms. A mother gives her child a glass of milk. Child is full for a long time. But every child especially when they're first given cow's milk, they say no. And that's why mothers add sugar and cocoa and other additives to milk, because even though they know that these things are not healthy, they think that milk is so good that they try to give it to their kids by adding these things. Could cow's milk really be good for humans? Cow's milk is a food for calves, and it helps a baby calf grow to full size in just 18 months. Cow's milk has the hormones to make us grow, grow, grow. And that's why when we consume cow's milk plus cheese and curds and buttermilk and all the products made of milk, we grow taller but also fatter. So it's really something that we should think about. Is cow's milk really for humans or even for our kids? Why are we the only species? We are the only species also that makes our food less nutritious before eating it by refining. We are the only species that doesn't eat our food whole. So the common refined foods are white rice and white flour. Can you all hear me? If someone finds my voice cracking, it could be because your internet is unstable. So white rice and white flour and oil and sugar. Now, even juices, which we often think are good, these days, soft drink market is going down and juices market is going up. But have you ever seen the ingredients on juices? Many of the juices contain some fruit pulp and then sugar and water and taste enhancers. What are taste enhancers? We need to look into all of this. And jaggery. Jaggery is also refined food. It's not a natural food. Jaggery is sugarcane juice dehydrated with all the fiber gone. That's not good for us. Diabetics can eat as much sugarcane as they like because nature has protected us by putting in all the fiber. If you were to eat sugarcane whole with your teeth, by peeling off the skin with your teeth and then chewing it, how much sugarcane could you eat? Not more than 6 inches of sugarcane. But when we have sugarcane juice, one glass of juice has 3 whole sugarcane sticks in it. And jaggery is even more concentrated. So we should never eat any of these refined foods. But instead of juice, you can have as much fruit as you like. Instead of jaggery, we could have as much sugarcane in the whole form as we like. And then we can never overeat. Nowadays, white oats are everywhere. Quick cooking oats are also refined oats. So instead of this, we want to have whole oats or unpolished oats. And nowadays, we're peeling the fruits and vegetables. So I want to tell you, instead of peeling, eat the way a monkey would. Monkeys can't peel carrots or cucumbers or even potatoes. But they would peel a banana or an orange, or maybe even eat the pineapple from the inside and leave the skin. And so that's the same way that we should eat them. We are, after all, primates. And so we should eat the way primates do. We also have a myth that packaged foods are good for us, they're hygienic. And actually, they're not. Packaged foods are they have a long shelf life, and even bacteria find it hard to attack them. Then how will we be able to digest them? So the less packaged foods we eat, the better. Now, one of the things that we think is good for us is medicines. We hardly ever think that medicines could be bad. But the truth is quite the opposite. After 8 years of doing our 21-day programs, I've realized that people get better faster when we reduce the medicines. Our body is designed to heal. Medicines only get in the way. And that's why this cartoon, now, of course, that doesn't mean that we never need medicines. Um, Antibiotics can be useful to us at some times. But let's have a look at this cartoon, which says the top prescription is for your arthritis, but it may cause a heart attack. And the second prescription should prevent the heart attack, but it could damage your liver, and so on and so forth. Today, we see so many people with liver and kidney damage, and that's because the liver and the kidney are the organs which take medicines and chemicals out of our body. And so they have the load of medicines to deal with every day. Our body is not designed to deal with medicines. Our body is designed to deal with good food. So the bad effects of medicines can be the side effects, but it can also be that medicines keep us unaware of the depth of the problem. For example, if you have a backache and you take painkillers, then you might be tempted to make all kinds of movements that you would never make if you weren't taking the painkillers. The body is designed to prevent you from making those movements by creating pain. Pain is good for us. But if we stop the pain, then we are likely to keep doing movements which will stress our back even more, and we end up with chronic back problems. And then medicines, as we saw, cause new diseases because medicines actually cause diseases, and they distract us from healing. We become unaware of our problem. We become unaware of the diabetes or high blood pressure or the symptoms. And so we can't concentrate on healing. And our body has to concentrate on removing the medicines instead of healing. So even the body cannot heal. So once we remove medicines, body begins to heal. And it's so amazing how fast the body heals. In our 21-day program, we have people who have had, say, diabetes or high blood pressure for 30 years. And by the end of the program, they are off most of their medicines. You can see some of these testimonials on our YouTube channel. Dr. Ray Strand has written many books, but one of his books is Death by Prescription, which actually talks about how serious prescription medicines are and how they can cause so many diseases and even death. Just to give you an example, our common treatment for cancer is radiotherapy. Everyone knows that X-rays cause cancer. Chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is poison, but we put it in our body because we're so scared of cancer and because doctors have no treatment for it. But we can actually look at it in a different way. We can look at cancer and think about it. What are the causes of cancer? How can we thank our body for producing symptoms to remind us that we need to get rid of all the causes of these diseases? We need to think about what are the causes, get rid of them, and we can get free from cancer. We are also faced with all kinds of natural therapies. A lot of my patients tell me, I'm doing acupuncture and acupressure and homeopathy and Ayurveda and all kinds of treatments. And, they may or may not be harmful. I have to say that being a homeopath, I know that every single medicine that can produce an effect can also produce a bad effect. So we are doing all these kind of natural therapies and spending time and money on them. They can be useful. They may or may not be useful. But shouldn't we first start eating and living the way God designed us to eat and live? Wouldn't that solve many of our problems? Now, people often ask, what about nutritional deficiencies? What about, don't we need red meat for iron and proteins? And don't we need milk for calcium? And before we ask these questions, we often forget to think about, why do we need proteins? What are proteins good for? How much protein do we need? Where do animals get their protein from? Horses are one of the most powerful animals with strong muscles. Where are they getting their protein from? Why do the trainers always tell us that we need whey protein and we should eat more eggs, and if we are into sports, we need to have animal products? Is this true? Protein is the intricate substance of every cell. If you're eating plants, you cannot escape protein. In fact, today we have diseases of excess protein consumption, osteoporosis and acidity and gout and kidney disease and cancer. Let's just look at this. Protein is the food for growth. Cancer is a growth. Cancer can be caused by excess protein. Kidney disease. Animal proteins are toxins for the kidneys. And I talk about all these in much more detail in my longer seminars. But we can get proteins from green leafy vegetables. Just look at this chart. Spinach is 49%. 49% of its calories come from protein. Now that's more than beef, chicken, or even eggs. Green leafy vegetables have so much protein, and that's why elephants and horses and deer and even cows don't have any problem in getting their protein. So why should we worry about protein on a plant-based diet? But then now comes, we need milk for calcium. And is that really true? I mean, how many of you have cavities? Or how many of you know somebody who has a cavity? And I'm sure there's nobody here who doesn't know someone who doesn't have a cavity. So if all these people who have cavities have been having milk their entire lives, which most of them have, then how did they get the cavities? Right? If we need milk for calcium, and calcium prevents cavities and makes strong bones, teeth are bones, by the way, then how are we getting so many cavities? I just want to show you that human breast milk, number one, has only 33 milligrams per 100 grams of calcium. All green leafy vegetables, nuts and seeds, even number 22 potato chips, has more calcium than human milk. And cow's milk has more calcium, has more calcium too. But human milk is enough to build bones and teeth in a newborn baby that has no bones and teeth. Can we ever need more calcium than what is found in human milk? And yet, all of us are getting more calcium. And that's why, because all of us eat, even the worst of us eat potato chips, we all get calcium. And that's why, actually, calcium intake deficiency is unheard of. Nobody suffers from this. Calcium excess is the problem. That's why no matter how many calcium tablets you take, nobody gets well from that. The only thing it can cause is kidney stones, and plenty of people have these. We get more than enough calcium from all these foods, and we don't need milk at all. What about vitamin deficiencies? Now, this is an actual problem. If we are eating foods that are animal products, dairy and meat, where will we get the vitamins from? We need plants, fruits, and vegetables of all colors of the rainbow to get all the phytonutrients and all the vitamins. And so sometimes we depend on multivitamin tablets, but nothing could be further from the truth. When we take excess of vitamin C, we get deficiency of vitamin B because these compete with each other. When we take too much of one vitamin, we have problems and we load the liver and the kidneys have to remove these from our body. So it's never good to take excess. And we are taking excess when we take multivitamin tablets. And what we do have a deficiency of is vitamin B12. Not just vegans, vegetarians, and non vegetarians can have a B12 deficiency today. So we have to check about vitamin B12 and be very careful. Everybody should get their vitamin B12 levels checked. And ideally, it's best to get your homocysteine levels checked as well. Vitamin B12 is only produced by bacteria. And in our super hygienic lifestyle, we don't get enough bacteria. And with all the electromagnetic waves, our mobile phones and microwaves and even computers, B12 is destroyed. Therefore, we must always check and take supplements if necessary. Also, vitamin D deficiency is a big problem because vitamin D originally came from the sun. It's formed on our skin. It's a hormone that's formed by our skin by the action of the sun on the skin. And if we don't go out in the sun enough, if we're working indoors all day, if we're living in places where half the time it's dark during the evening and morning, then vitamin D deficiency is a result. And so everyone must get their vitamin D levels checked and take supplements if necessary. Now, I've seen so many people who, despite hearing all this, don't get their levels checked. Vitamin B12 deficiency has so many problems, from weakness and acidity and lack of memory, all the way up to heart attacks and anemia and heart attacks. It's so vital that we get our vitamin B12 levels checked. And vitamin D can cause depression and schizophrenia, and of course, um, osteoporosis and calcium deficiencies, because you can't absorb calcium without vitamin D. It can also cause diabetes. But These are the things that people rarely get checked. So always check your vitamin levels, especially vitamin B12 and D, which are found deficient these days. If you're on a whole plant based diet, there should be no problem with the other nutrients. But one of the causes of disease is stress. Actually, today I'm seeing so many patients with cancer. And one of the big causes of cancer is stress. Stress, resentment, anxiety. And, you know, the causes of stress are so many. It's what we don't learn in school. We don't learn how to cook healthy and handle good relationships. We learn algebra and geometry, which doesn't really help us so much. And our culture, you know, we have so many cultural norms, like we should do this and we should get married at this age and we should have a date on Saturday night, whatever it is in your culture, which stresses us. We really need to think about what will make us happy. We have culture of going to restaurants or religious rites, which, do they really help us? And then we have so much stress on pleasures instead of happiness. What are pleasures? Buying new clothes, going to the cinema, going to a nice restaurant, eating good food. But what is happiness? Happiness is something that stays with you even if there are no pleasures. Happiness is there whether you eat good food or not. Happiness is there no matter what you are wearing. How can we learn to get happiness? And happiness comes from doing what really makes you happy. What we have been born for. And our food. How does food cause stress? You may have heard that when we are stressed, we produce adrenaline. Well, when the animals in our diet are stressed, they produce adrenaline. And when we consume these animals, we are getting adrenaline too. Even milk, which is a calf's milk, a mother's milk for her calf, that mother is highly stressed when her milk is taken away from her to be sold in the market. And she produces adrenaline. And actually, if you get off all animal products, you will see your stress levels drop. I'm sure that some of you who are in the audience today and who have already been on SHARAN's plan, which I'll soon tell you, have found that your stress levels have dropped. And today we are also seeing so many hormonal problems because of hormone disruptors in our lives. And chemicals are the hormone disruptors. Common hormonal problems are thyroid and diabetes and polycystic ovarian and infertility and early puberty and menstrual problems and menopausal problems and breast cancers and prostate cancers and vitamin D deficiency, because vitamin D is a hormonal problem. Oh my God, so many hormonal problems, and there are even more. And these can be prevented just by reducing all the chemicals in our lives. These could be the pesticides on our food. SHARAN always advocates organic food because we spray pesticides on foods so that animals won't eat them. Isn't it crazy that we eat them? And fertilizers that are used to grow foods are like vitamins. They're given in too much quantity and they compete with each other, with the result that foods grown on fertilizers have less nutrients than foods grown without fertilizers. And personal care products. I hate to talk about these, but hair dyes and soaps and deodorants and shampoos and perfumes and all these things are chemicals, makeup, and all of that. And then household chemicals, the air fresheners, and the detergents, and the all these things we use to clean our windows and spray all over the place, and environmental chemicals which we can't do much about. You know, we are the only species that uses so much soap and shampoos and everything, and yet we stink. And so we need deodorants. Isn't that funny? How can we, like other animals, not stink by eating and living the way God designed us to eat and live? And then we'll hardly need any personal care products either. So, what's the best way to heal? Remember that the body is a perfect machine. We should not overload it with all kinds of chemicals, including medicines. Medicines are chemicals too. Today, we have an extra chemical, which is plastic. We use microwaves, and plastic seeps into our food. Sometimes we freeze in plastic, and plastic, which finds its way into the sea, is found in all fish, which in turn are fed to animals in our food chain. Yes, even cows are fed fish. Fish meal is fed to all the animals in our food chain, and then it comes back to us. Plastic comes back to us. No wonder today we have more hormonal problems than ever before in the history of man. So, what do we need? We need the correct fuel for our body. That means putting in the right nutrients, and we need the very best spare parts. Nutrients are our spare parts. Spare parts can help us heal. So we need to put the best nutrients into our body. What is the natural fuel for human beings? Fruits, vegetables, beans, seeds, nuts, and actually not grains. You know, we hear so much about um, gluten intolerance. Well, think about it. If you see those green fields of wheat and rice, does your mouth water? No. That's cow food. A cow's mouth water when it sees green fields of wheat and rice. So we should eat more fruits, more vegetables, more beans and seeds and nuts, and less of all the grains that we're eating. Now, just to get well, we can eat some grains, but we should keep in mind that these are not the natural foods for human beings. So let's concentrate on more fruits and vegetables and beans and seeds and nuts and less refined foods. And not meat, fish, chicken, milk, or eggs. So Sharan's 5-point plan is eat plant-based, eat whole foods, and we talked about whole foods today. Eat organic, eat, make sure you get your vitamin B12 and vitamin D. And now we are coming towards the end of the seminar and I'll soon answer questions. What are the benefits? Health, of course, the environment, animals, Of course, because if we're not killing animals and we are not feeding food that humans could eat to animals, then we are stopping starvation and deforestation and biodiversity. But the most important today is our health. Now, I know that what I've spoken today is very short. I can't put in more in an hour, but we can support you through the many things that we do. Our programs, we have many programs coming up in Mumbai and Bangalore and Delhi and London and Dubai right now. And the reason I do webinars is because I can't reach all of you, but there's a lot of information in our newsletters and websites. So if you're not getting on our newsletters, please do subscribe to them. You can do that from our website.
I'm Captain Joseph. Meanwhile, Dr. Nandita or Raina comes on, I can talk to you. And can you slow down on your questions, please? Till the time she comes up, whatever I can, we will try to address it. Can we eat millets? Yes, millet is the best thing to do, best replacement for the rice or atta, and it is very eco-friendly too. It requires less water to grow. So, and SHARAN totally recommend millets to be used as much as possible. Can we use salt? Yes, we can use salt, but rock salt, not iodized salt. Is sea salt and mainly the rock salt. Okay, soya product good for thyroid. Soya we don't highly recommend because it's a high protein, but it is not bad. And if you can possibly get it organic, then better to have whole soya, like whole soya bean, and make whatever you want to make a soya paneer or whatever this is from the whole. From where we get B12 and D3. I have a question here. Lentils like dal, chana, lobia grains are not. Since you said excess supplementation of vitamins can be problems, so as vegan, if we take B12 supplement, can excess of it be a problem? Does it need to be monitored? B12, excess B12 is not a problem. Excess D3 is a problem. So B12, you can have it on a daily basis. Basically, the source for B12 is fermented food or well water, and basically it's from bacteria. So for B12, you can have supplements. And have your checkup done every 6 months. However, for D3, you have to be within the limits. Excess D3 can be poisonous. So D3 should be taken under consultation. Can millets lead to excess protein? No, I mean, you don't, anything you take in excess, it can lead into excess protein, but it's quite filling, so you will not able to have it. No, you cannot have it in excess. That is the one good thing about millets. For hypertensive, any diet? I didn't understand. I hope Nandita will come back on that. From where we get B12 and D3. B12, I said you can have supplements, and D3 basically it is from sun. If you have 1 hour sun every day, you will get sufficient D3. However, if you are deficient, you can go for supplement that also. How to act it at diminishing eyesight, which gives double eye view and is not correctable. Till when I'm not able to answer you on that. I hope Dr. Nandita will be coming online. Otherwise, we'll reply back later. Abbas Munga, whole brown rice. Yes. But what about milk substitute? Yes, we have a lot of milk substitute. Like you can have almond milk, cashew milk, coconut milk, soya milk. We make curd out of this, peanut curd, almond curd, and it's like any other milk products. And we make dahi vada, you make cheese out of cashew. So there's a lot of alternatives. Just visit our website. You will have all the recipes in that, how to make milk, and how to make what you call the alternatives. Can we get too much protein from plant fats? No. Also, can excessive plant protein cause health problems? No. You are comparing, Kalpana, you are comparing with the protein which you are getting from animal product. Plant products are so simple. No worry about excess protein. And what happens in the plant, you will have a fiber along with it. So it takes whatever negative in that, it is taken away with that fiber. So no worry about anything, any excess protein from plants. Should we stop calcium supplements even if our calcium level is low in our blood test? If you are on whole plant-based diet other than B12 and D3, no other supplements is required. Unless it's so critical, then you require help from a doctor, but you can get your calcium and everything back. The only two
Can you hear me
supplements.
now? Can
Yes,
anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So do you want to go on, and should I answer questions now?
Please, Rena, please, Nandita, I'm going off the mic.
Okay, thank you. But I don't know which questions you've asked yet. So would one of you like to ask the questions, Reena or Captain? Would you like to ask the questions and I'll answer them? Can you speak the questions to me?
Yeah, I answered B12 and D3. Then salt. The questions on whether salt is what salt we are supposed to take it, and what else? Soya. Is it a soya good for? It's bad for thyroid.
Okay, great.
And millet. Excess millets can increase the excess protein. And one till has asked me about some eye problem, so that I will post it on your. So you take on. I'll just privately send you the message.
Okay, great. Thank you. Somebody asked, can they get the WhatsApp number? I think that has been answered, right? Okay, great. I'm just looking at all the questions. You know, for vitamin B12 and vitamin D, these have been written in great detail on our website. So if you would go to our website under Try Vegan, read about vitamin B12 and D, it's really worth reading about it for every single person. Okay, did you miss a lot of my presentation? I hope not. Okay. Are lentils grains? No, lentils are not grains. And you know, actually, if you go to a farm or an orchard and you see lentils growing, if you say moong or beans growing, you can actually open them and eat them raw. So the difference between lentils and beans and grains is that we don't feel like eating grains raw. You can't eat much of wheat or rice raw, but you can actually eat beans fresh and raw anytime. So all the foods, all the fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds which are good for us are the ones which we can eat raw. Most of the things we can eat raw. Even potatoes can be eaten raw. We don't do it, but it can be done. Somebody wrote, I have heard that apple skin can contain wax. That's because we humans put wax on apples so that they will last longer. And that's why we want to get organic ones instead. Just to repeat, yes, you can use salt. We should use natural salts like rock salt or sea salt, because animals also go to salt licks. They need salt. We need salt. But we are eating foods with too much salt. Salt in packaged foods is an excitotoxin because salt is addictive. And so packaged foods are added not just to addict us but to also preserve. Salt is also preservative. So we should eat some salt but not too much. Now, excess of vitamin B12 is usually not a problem, but excess of vitamin D is a problem. Therefore, please read everything on vitamin B12 and D on our website under Try Vegan. Millets cannot lead to excess protein because nature is so wise that when there's lots of protein, there's also lots of fiber. And fiber prevents us from overeating. So, for example, coconuts have a lot of fat, there's a lot of fiber. If you eat whole coconuts, you can't eat too much, but coconut oil, you can eat a lot. So, fiber prevents us from eating anything, and so we will never get excess if we eat whole foods. Now, there's a question how to eat at diminishing eyesight. So these are very specific questions which we would need to go into all the tests. So if you look at our consultations, then you will see that we ask for tests which cover only blood tests, which cover the entire body. And if you live in India, you can get these done in a package, really inexpensive. Thyrocare gives an inexpensive package, but you can get it from many labs, and it's so worth the price because you can find out the condition of your liver, your kidneys, your lipid levels, your blood hemoglobin, your blood sugar, everything with just one blood test, vitamin B12 and vitamin D. And with that, a doctor can actually diagnose what is the condition along with the symptoms. No doctor can diagnose just from tests. Doctors always need to have symptoms and the tests as well as what you're doing to come to a diagnosis and help you. And our consultations are very, very complete. So if your apple skin has wax, then what you can do is buy organic apples. One can use tofu. Tofu is just made from soybeans. Soybeans can even be eaten raw. Therefore, tofu is okay. But we shouldn't eat too much tofu because it's a slightly refined product which takes some of the fiber away. So Sam David asked from Chicago, what is the substitute for milk? And I want to tell you all that we're not babies. We don't need a substitute for milk. We don't need any milk, but we can have any milk. We can have any of the plant-based milks. That means oat milk, rice milk. It's only for pleasure. It's not a need. Can we stop using calcium supplements even if our calcium level is low? Yes. Calcium in blood tests is never low. That's not an indicator. What you need is bone density to check whether your calcium is low or not. How do we know if one is having excess protein? Given that the blood protein level is normal, by the kidney function test, the creatinine test, the uric acid, and the blood urea nitrogen. And that's why we do all these tests. Does this diet affect digestion, only for the better. What is a supplement to take for vitamin B12 deficiency? Please, this how much and all this is all given in on our website under B12 in Try Vegan. So I'm not going to answer more questions on B12 and D deficiency because we are running out of time. Is cow ghee, coconut oil, mustard oil, olive oil good for us? No, none of them are good for you. Think about it, none of the animals on the whole planet have any of these. And they have better health than we do. I've been following a whole plant-based diet for 15 months. I feel great, but my blood test shows anemic and slight hypothyroid. Look, blood tests cannot reverse, whole plant-based diet cannot reverse what has been caused over years and years in just 15 months. But within time, with every test, you will get better and better, and body needs time to heal. Also, this all depends on which medicines you're taking. Therefore, I highly advise consultations for personal problems. We will send the recorded webinar to all of you. Please do hear it again if you like to get more information. Okay, I'm scrolling down to get more questions. Can soya cause thyroid? Not at all, but genetically modified any grains, including soy and corn and canola, and all these things can cause a host of problems. Always eat organic. How effective is SHARAN diet for type 1 diabetes? SHARAN diet will reduce the insulin dosage immediately. And many type 1 diabetics over a long period of time can get free of insulin altogether. So could I please list the 5-point plan again? Plant-based, whole, organic, vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Now, don't forget that we try to give everything in SHARAN for free. And if you go to our website and go to About Us and Publications, our health booklet is there for free and will answer many of these questions as well. Okay, I'm just looking and seeing if there are any other questions that have not been answered, because I think we've answered most of these. Plantain and banana are both the same and they're both great. In fact, we advise green smoothies every morning, and green smoothies are made with bananas. Look at our recipe section for green smoothie recipes. And for natural personal care products, the whole internet is full of them. So please do check them out. Knee pains due to drying of glucosamine. Yes, so we have to think, why did the glucosamine go? And then we have to correct it from there. How much vegetables to eat, how much of anything to eat. We have to learn to listen to our bodies and eat according to what our body tells us. And this is a whole process. And somebody is asking why I haven't written a book. And my book is being published by Penguin and should come out in November this year. We are also launching a 21-day online program where you can get all the information. So this is all coming soon. And mouth dryness, I cannot tell you what to do because I don't know why it is. So that's why our consultations are really good. We do all the tests, we see all the medicines, we see all the symptoms, and we see what you're doing and correlate all these four. Nothing can be done without correlating all these four. So I've already overshot the time. It's 8:15. I want to end now. I want to thank you so much for being there and for all your attention. And you will get the recording. And I look forward to seeing you in one of our programs, one of our webinars, somewhere else again soon. Thank you, all of you, and goodbye. The name of the book you'll come to know when it's launched. Be on our mailing list to know all about this. Okay, thank you all so much, and goodbye to all of you. I'm ending the meeting and the recording now.